Well, I've been in this role for the CPD, Continuous Professional Development Officer, for the Standards Council of Scotland for 4 months now, and it's been a very steep learning curve, but actually in some ways not as steep as I thought it was going to be. The Standards Council, I'll tell you a little bit about that first, has been set up over the past 4 years through very extensive consultation across the field of what in Scotland we call Community Learning and Development, or CLD for short. And that encompasses adult learning, adult literacies, youth work and community capacity building, community development. So it's a very broad field, and the sector also operates in diverse ways, so in education, in housing, in social work, in health. And so we've got people who would describe themselves as CLD workers or practitioners working in lots of different contexts. So one of the things that the Standards Council tried to reflect was this kind of diversity of practice, but also recognising the kind of common factors and common competencies that people needed to work in across these fields. And so the Standards Council is a registration body, and part of the aim is to professionalise CLD and give it standing again, which it did used to have, with teachers and social workers. And so there's a voluntary registration scheme that the Standards Council operates, and there's 2 memberships. One is a full membership for people with an approved qualification, which is usually at degree level or higher. And the second is an associate who could maybe be a volunteer or a part-time worker, or somebody who is doing some either adult education, youth work, or community capacity building within their main role. For instance, firemen. There aren't so many fires in Scotland now, so lots of firemen do youth work as well. So we're hoping to attract some firemen and get them to do some training in youth work and so on. So my role really is around CPD, and it's much more kind of general, more of an overview, so I'm not going to be honing down totally on adult learning, but I hope that you can see where it all fits in. What else do I need to say there? The idea of developing and nurturing a learning culture felt really important, because that is what the practitioners felt that they were doing with the people that they were working with, and we wanted to reflect that in our training and our professional development. So, oops, wrong way. I'm being IT illiterate. It's all right. So we did a big consultation right across the field, and basically put forward proposals, and then we made changes. And there's a booklet here. There should be enough for everybody. Yeah. And also when we go onto the framework, you can have a look.
Do you have a copyright of that figure, or can we copy it for our purposes?
Yeah, no, you can. We'll share with. That's part of the culture. We can share that. I hope I'm going to press the right way. Yes. Too much, but this is what we came up with anyway. The vision, and these were the kind of statements. So that learning celebrated, recognised and encouraged. It's reflected on, very strong focus on being a reflective practitioner, that we relish challenge and we embrace that, critique. and critical reflections embedded in our practice, and where individuals can explore learning related to their role throughout their careers. So the culture is also underpinned by the values and competencies of CLD, which are again outlined in here, which is our little kind of Bible, I suppose, and also a code of ethics. Now I realise I should have brought more of these, but I've got one copy, but in a minute, and actually as you're listening, you could log on. I've given you all these.
Yep. Okay.
And you can log on to the www.idevelop and register, and I'll give you a really quick flick through what's on there.
The
And
username and password.
it's the you need to register. So you need to join. Okay. So it'll just take a few minutes, and I'll carry on talking while you join. There you go. It's free.
But we can use the password as we like and so?
Yeah, you can. Once you've joined, you can use it.
Yeah, so there's no rules for...
There's no rules, it's free. It's free, it's open, and the
Is there a URL that I should write down?
yeah, that's the one
Oh yeah, it's there.
to go in. And I've given everybody one of these. Should have one of these. It's at the bottom. Just you'll get a link. You'll get an email with a link. Don't bother about cutting and pasting the link. Just go straight in.
The password is a certain
number?
It has
No, you set up your own password.
invalid login.
Just our email?
No, you can just use a sensible name. Just use your own name
Okay.
with a number
And the password.
and your own password. So you're logging in. You're setting this up, and then you can carry on using it.
it said invalid
Okay.
login.
Yeah.
And listen,
Okay. Well, don't worry. We can. Yeah.
you cannot log in until you have registered.
Yeah. So you need
So
to.
first you register,
Thank you.
write your name, and you choose a password. Once you have it, you will be able to log in next
Oh,
time.
thank you, Graciela.
I'm sorry, it's try, but it doesn't accept the password, so maybe it's some rules for it.
I don't know. I'm not sure, but we can come back to that
Oh, it
later.
says, is it your first time here?
Yeah.
And then you subscribe.
Okay. So what we wanted was to develop a national learning culture, and to find a way of supporting this. And the website that you're looking at is really our CPD framework, and it's a dynamic CPD framework, and it's very much owned by the field. The CLD Standards Council look after it, hold it, if you like, in trust. But we've got committees and groups, working parties and so on, who help with the development of the website and the materials that are on there. And really looking at the factors for a successful learning organisation. We've got the sort of shared vision, and that's the role really of the CLD Standards Council and Education Scotland. Shouldn't forget our partners there at a national level. Employers organisation and other leaders, and then the practitioners themselves. So really what we're looking at is these three, if you like, groups of stakeholders coming together. And the framework, the online framework, gives us, I suppose, a focus for that and a repository of knowledge and resources and a space to discuss things. What we want is for people involved or included in the learning culture to know what it feels like to be part of that. We want them to know what it sounds like, how they speak about their profession, and what it looks like when you see it in action. Because in Scotland, we've perceived that it was actually really quite difficult to describe what your job was. And so we'd often say, or what do you tell your mother you do? And we say, oh, we're a teacher or a social worker or something like that, because they didn't understand what you did. So this part of this is to be able to articulate, help people articulate and have confidence in their professionalism. And the website supports really the cycle of learning, and it's very much about people going on, doing research, having an issue they want to discuss, getting some answers, but then also when they put those answers into practice or find out something else, then they share that and it comes back in. So it's very mutually beneficial. And so these are the sort of areas, the sort of approaches. So it's very self-directed. When you go onto the website, you'll see that. There's lots of opportunities to share with your peers. We're trying to exploit new technology as much as possible, and also support employers. And also we want employers to support us, because if there's a registration process, we want employers to support people who are registered. And part of the registration is a commitment to 35 hours a year CPD. So that would be a pro rata if you were part-time. But that's what we're looking at. So we need employers to support that as well. The framework is really supportive of this national learning culture. It's obviously on an electronic platform. We don't have anything apart from this that you can put on a shelf, but all of this is on the website. It's responsive to new developments, and practically it's in these 3 sections: vision and values, developing the self, and supporting others. And the sections form different areas around the CLD competencies which have been agreed, the employer's role, the underpinning principles and values of the field, examples of learning journeys, and then resources, looking at how you can best motivate and lead. There's induction processes, communities of practice. We've got lots of forums, and quality and continuous improvements. So I think that's probably the end of that. Yes. So I'm going to be working a bit, yes, without anything now. But hopefully most of you will have managed to log in.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Well, say you should select an organisation. It's just within UK, is it?
Yeah, don't bother about that. It's not got a little tag by it, has it? No. No, that's just so that employers can see how many people in their local authority or organisation, how many people are using it.
Yeah.
Graciela, can I log on here, do you think? Would it come up then?
Yes.
So I'm just going to do a really quick sort of whiz through, because I've probably...
You said we did.
Let me do it. I develop...
I hyphen.
Yeah, there you go. Oops. Hyphen CLD.
Maybe it doesn't
I
support.
develop
hyphen CLD and .org UK. Thank you.
Very well.
That's great. Thanks very much. So just going to do a bit of a whiz through, and we're going to have a look at all of these tabs here have different kind of sections beneath them, but we're going to have a look at the supporting others. And so if you can click onto that while I log in. go away.
Peer sharing, peer.
Okay, so if we're going to supporting others and have a look at motivating and leading others. Okay, you get a wee bit of the context, and then if you go through into practice, which is the next tag there, okay, then you'll start to see different sorts of resources there. Most of these resources have been shared from colleagues in the field. In some of the sections you might find there are policy documents as well, and we're trying to use not just pop on lots of PDFs, but actually do wraparound materials as well. So if for instance, the CLD coaching approaches resources here are a group of PDFs, but we're doing some work now with the people who are delivering the courses and making some smaller presentations so that people can hear them speaking and delivering some of the materials. And we're also looking at some online resources as well. So lots of things have got kind of wraparound resources, and they'll develop as we go. Excuse me, my throat's a wee bit croaky. Right, if you go back to the top and have a look at resources, then you'll find more things. Some of them are links into other websites. Some of them are just a piece of information. And there are lots of things that that people have found interesting. So probably every day I'll get an email from somebody going, I found this. And then what I'll do is have a look at it and say, yeah, okay, I'll put it on, but we need to do some more work around that, and we tag it.
So you edit it in a way?
Yeah, at the moment I'm trying to get...
You work quite hard.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
But I'm setting up an editorial group, so the idea is that we'll have 2 or 3 groups of practitioners I can run things by, so I'm not doing all the editing myself. And then we've got a forum. So you can see I'm quite prominent on this one because I'm taking a lead on the CLD coaching approaches. But there's one I want to show you in a minute, which is a bit of work around the literacies forum, which I think has been really interesting. So if you go down to the boxes on the side, and then here you can see CPD forum, and just click on there, and you'll see there's a MOOC as well. You might be interested in having a look at that. And then if we scroll down, you'll see here, PDA supporting adult literacies learning and tutoring. Okay, so Susan Stewart started off this, she was making asking some questions of her colleagues, because there's a change in the training of adult literacy tutors. And they've changed the course, so it used to be, it's got a different name. So she was wanting a little bit of information about this. So quite a few colleagues from across the country got involved in the discussion. And then last week they met in Glasgow, supported by our colleague from Education Scotland. And they've come up with some proposals about how to take forward the adult literacies learning and tutoring course across the country, and they'll be sharing that with colleagues quite soon, and on iDevelop. So this really is very much a community of practice. It's very much peer-led, and this particular group of people are total champions of iDevelop, as well as in the field of adult learning. They've been great. So not only are they working together, but they're working in their communities and using iDevelop with their staff. So there are some private groups. So if you go into the blue tab, My CPD, then you can set up a group, which is a closed group. And so in some of the local authorities, especially the rural ones where the adult literacy tutors are dispersed across a wide area, the manager of the staff will set up a closed group and will post a little bit of training, a new policy document, and then say, right, okay, they're mostly part-time workers, you've got 2 weeks and I want you to answer these 3 questions. So they will use the group to start a discussion and working together. This is a bit like a mini MOOC, I think, if there's such a thing. And it's actually working really well. And a side impact, I think, that we didn't think about is that it's really increasing people's confidence in using digital technology, including mine. And now I'm much more comfortable using kind of forums and stuff than I was before. I was very precious, like we were talking about yesterday. Oh, what will people think about my grammar? And you know, this is going to be there forever, blah blah blah. So that's been a really good side effect. I'm going to just take you quickly to the e-learning centre. So these are all the competencies, the CLD competencies that have been agreed. They've not just been agreed by practitioners, they've been agreed by the, endorsed by the government, by Education Scotland, and by the higher and further education institutions. And we would approve, the Standards Council approve those courses as well. So if you were choosing a course in Scotland, you would look for a course that was approved by the Standards Council for CLD, and then you would know that you would get your accreditation to practice. And there are a couple of courses still who haven't put forward for accreditation, and we're working with them to look at this. Oops, somebody's LinkedIn. Graciela. Okay, I'll click on here. The competencies are already levelled, and we've got a wee bit of work to do on this. So how do you know what level you're at? We want to do some exemplars, but we've worked it out, and we need nearly 1,000 exemplars. So I'm busy setting up little groups of practitioners all around the country at different levels who are going to do some examples for us that we can put on here. If you click on this little button next to it, help with levels. So that gives you a little bit more information, but it needs to be more prominent. So these will be level 1 competencies. That would take you into the Standards Council website, and the competencies wheel, which for some reason's not come up. Well, you can click on it. There's a copy of this in here, and there's a copy on there as well, somewhere. Competent practitioner. Let's go back. We don't really want level 1. Let's try something like level 4. If you go for level 4, it'll put up resources that are level 4 and level 5, so that they're kind of stretching. So there's different resources in there, and then you can add these to your e-portfolio, which is in here. I have to say I've not really used mine, but basically you can save things, and you've got a wee tool to use for self-reflection. And and you can share this with a line manager or a mentor if you wanted to. So there's lots of resources on this website, and basically it's there for you to have a look at, and if people are interested, you can contact me at somewhere on here at the bottom. Contact us, and that just comes straight to me. If you've got any questions about it, or you want to use it, and I was hoping that we'd be able to put some of the resources from today, or from this week, sorry, on here to share with colleagues. And I thought it'd be really good for me to start a forum with some of my colleagues who are on iDevelop in Scotland, and just keep them up to date with what's happening here. And so now you're all registered. If you are, then you'd be, welcome to join in that conversation. Although we've got quite a lot going on our other blog. So I think that's all I need to say. There's loads in there. It's huge. So if you've got kind of 10 minutes or so, and you feel that it's worthwhile, it's best just to have a little browse through it and work through the different sections yourself. I'll go back to the home page, and obviously any comments that you have, any suggestions, then I'd be really pleased to hear them, and any resources that you've got that you think might be useful. Have you got any questions, anybody? I wondered if anybody was wondering around about the generic qualifications, for CLD workers, and how that kind of correlates, if you like, to the adult literacy. Would that be worth just going into?
Thank you very much, Susan.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Okay.
Questions? No, first good one.
Oh, thank you.
I have a question. You may have said it, but how long did it take you to develop all this?
Well, I didn't do it. My colleague Alan Milsom worked on it for 3 years with another colleague who still works with me part-time, Jim, who did the technical stuff. As I say, it's still developing. We're looking at an app at the moment, and so people can use it easily on their devices. And we're just developing the new forums as well. But it's good because it's on Moodle, and so that's been, I think, a very good idea to base it on that platform. And because there are lots of things like e-learning and stuff.
Built on Moodle.
Yeah,
Right.
the only thing that isn't